President Masisi received envoys from Seychelles, Lesotho, Cyprus, Indonesia and the Gambia. Radio is still considered an important medium of disseminating information. And in sports, joining Galaxy hopes of being at the summit of the log to be decided by TAFIC tomorrow. Interpreting in sign language is Topo Taposa. Good evening. 5 high commissioners from Seychelles, Lesotho, Cyprus, Indonesia and the Gambia presented their letters of credence to President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi today, pledging to foster bilateral ties with Botswana and exploring areas of cooperation for mutual prosperity. President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi cited key areas of cooperation with the countries ranging from advancing innovation and digitization, as well as tapping into opportunities in education, trade and investment. Utsidile Unkabetse reports.
Botswana is home to several diplomatic missions spread across the world, all indicative of her strong foreign policy framework and commitment to multilateralism. Botswana undoubtedly has good relationships with these countries, with whom she shares commonalities and interests, and remains intentional about strengthening cooperation in various sectors of development.
You have been resolute as a people in deepening democratic dispensation and behavior. And so the transition for us was very refreshing. It was peaceful and notable. And we worked very well with the previous government as much as we worked very well with the current government. And Botswana wishes for much more to be done. With your appointment and particularly your competence, I expect a lot more to be done in the area of trade, in the area of tourism, education, and really to bolster the bilateral relations so that we grow them.
The prospects of further cooperating in tourism and education are in the horizon for Botswana and other countries.
And even yesterday with the minister, we were saying let's revive this idea of a two-center holiday destination.
Yes.
Fisheries as well, I'm mindful of your decision to bring aquaculture, because we also are, as you know, we depend a lot on fisheries. It's the second economy.
Batswana le Basotho bana le history jolo ka ho bile ntate go tloa ka nako ya gale re santsana re na le boleswa.
Tourism and cooperation between our tertiary education institutions of the private and the public sector as well. Thanks very much for reminding me the historical background of our relations.
The Gambia and Indonesia also seek to explore people-to-people diplomacy as well as economic partnerships with Botswana to advance prosperity.
My main mission here is to enhance the bilateral cooperation in every sector, including, of course, the people-to-people contact between the two countries.
We would like to explore on trade, mining, because Gambia and we have also oil and gas. We discovered also petroleum, gas in the Gambia, and also tourism and cultural heritage.
Botswana's transformative development is informed by several instruments, such as her domestic and foreign policies, which drive her national agenda and international priorities. Utsidile Unkabetse, BTV News, Gaborone.
Pakistan, Lithuania, Belarus and Poland have pledged to seek and mutually explore economic opportunities in agriculture as well as regional and international cooperation mechanisms with Botswana. President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi received presentations of credentials today from ambassadors of these 4 nations. Utsidile Unkabetse continues.
Botswana maintains the posture of incorporating regional integration in her development framework and is looking to exploring various avenues with countries willing to advance opportunities, cooperation and relations which will bring mutual benefit and prosperity.
Probable, potential, realizable, expanded cooperation based on our comparative advantages. Belarus is well known for its significant performance and output in the production of a rare, very much needed product, fertilizers. We do not have adequacy of machinery and all that goes with making machinery work efficiently in the human capital space. And that's where I would think, Mr. Ambassador, you could spend your time profitably. We have a new agricultural program we just launched, a very ambitious one. And we are going to launch a very ambitious livestock. The other one was crop livestock enhanced program in April. Both of them can benefit from what you've been through and what you do so well.
Pakistan, whose main industries include food processing and pharmaceuticals, could prove to be just the economic partner Botswana needs. Lithuania, on the other hand, could help Botswana expand on her energy supplies prospects.
I assure you that I'll work day and night for strengthening of our bilateral cooperation for the mutual benefit of our two countries. And as you said, we are partners in many regional and international organizations. We'll continue our cooperation at multilateral forums also, and we'll strengthen our bilateral cooperation also. So
I'm fully committed to further expanding opportunities for economic partnerships, for cooperation in renewable energy, in promotion of academic exchanges, people-to-people contacts. As you rightly mentioned, we have quite extensive transition experience, and we are ready to share.
Belarus is an upper middle income economy which Botswana seeks to become. Poland boasts an industrialized and well-developed market. These two could prove to be invaluable for Botswana.
I think we have to increase our level of cooperation in political sphere. We have to support each other more international arena. We have to exchange political consultation regularly. And I propose to establish joint commission on trade and economy.
We are looking forward to cooperation in various areas. One of them is diamond industry. Banknotes is a different, the Polish security paper.
Companies in the security space that do very well.
Yes, yes. So I hope they will run for tender or a few tenders in Botswana, and also food industry is interested.
All these countries bring to the table invaluable principles of good governance and economic prosperity, which can align with Botswana's drive towards prosperity. Utsidile Ongabetsi, BTV News, Gaborone.
Gaborone High Court Justice Barnabas Nyamazambo has dismissed with cost the application by former President Lieutenant General Seretse Ian Khama to have charges laid against him that include illegal possession of firearms set aside. Unkutlile Tamare and Wabetsu Mpulubusi with the report.
On and about the 19th of October 2021, the High Court granted a search warrant to law enforcement officers to search the former President Seretse Ian Khama after the investigation team discovered that him and the former Director General of the DIS, Colonel Isaac Khosi, were in illegal possession of firearms and ammunition. Upon the search warrant being granted, law enforcement officers discovered that warrants did not cover Khama's official residence, popularly known as State House 4. Law enforcement agencies gave Khama notice to voluntarily submit the arms and ammunition in his custody by November 8, 2021. Regrettably, on the said date, without notifying the investigation team or surrendering the arms and ammunition, the former president left the country for South Africa, where he remains to date. Former President Khama was seeking the court to set aside all charges laid against him, citing that there is no evidence to support the allegations made in his charges. The prosecution hinted that the application was premature and that the applicant is a fugitive, running from justice and lacks the right to institute the application before the court or any other court in Botswana. The court upheld that the former president is a fugitive from justice who was aware of charges against him and has not made himself available to be served with court papers and appear in magistrate courts to answer for those charges. Justice Nyamazabo dismissed Khama's application with costs. Meanwhile, the second respondent, Colonel Isaac Khosi, was ordered to pay costs if he abandoned the application at the rate quarter of those paid by the first applicant. Unkutle Thamage, BTV News, Gaborone.
Botswana Council of Churches have revealed their desire to create a budget tracking committee amongst its members to help ensure implementation of budgetary measures is done properly. The council shared this at their national budget speech review yesterday in Gaborone, emphasizing that reviewing the budget is in line with their role as stewards of society. In addition, they praised the 2024-2025 budget proposal, saying it has the potential to transform the country. Kuulopile Mabina and Tsorofelo Tombale.
The Botswana Council of Churches has for many years reviewed the national budgets delivered by the Ministers of Finance, but has decried poor implementation of some of the initiatives prioritized in those budgets, including infrastructure development. However, it was proposed at the Council's recent National Budget Speech Review that a budget tracking committee made up of church leaders could help improve implementation.
We must also acknowledge and admit that participation over the years has been limited to budget speech analysis after its presentation by the Minister of Finance. But funds permitting, we desire to be more proactive through a budget tracking and policy review process. Because in that way, then we'll be able to actively participate in the processes that build, that work towards the, the development of the national budget.
Citizen Entrepreneurial Development Agency, which was represented at the review, shared the programs they lead that align with the budget priorities.
Agricultural development, 2.82 billion has been set aside for agricultural development. And Rona, what do we do? We've been given the leeway to do what we call a horticultural market, rather than the horticultural market. Rona will see that government has set aside money for us to do a market. Because why? No really money. Loyally. Melo lazy rule. Eh, lo lazy rule ya lo le pula hali na lo la he. Eh, lo na lo la lo batho ba sele. Why? Because the market is disjointed. The market is fragmented.
Development managers and others should ensure that some of the smaller projects that would be hired of the smaller contractors should be labor intensive to ensure that the local economy benefits by money going into the local economy. And we should go back to a model where at least 30% of procurement must benefit the local companies and local organizations.
The council emphasized that reviewing the budget is in line with their role as stewards of the society, and they would continue to contribute to the country's socio-economic development as they had done throughout the nation's history. Tsolofelo Tombale, BTV News, Gaborone.
Speakers at this year's commemoration of World Radio Day in Shakawe have emphasized that radio still remains relevant despite the growing influence of internet and social networks. The Commissioner General of the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, Mr. Itseng says this relevance is due to radio's ability to reach residents of hard-to-reach areas and help to keep such populations informed. Tsolofelo Tombale has the details.
The medium of radio has been in existence for over 100 years to date. As the world celebrates the medium on World Radio Day every year on the 13th February, it does so in a changing landscape in which emerging technologies, such as the internet, are growing in popularity and access. However, at this year's celebration of World Radio Day in Shakawe, it has emerged that the medium remains one of the most powerful platforms.
Despite the growing influence of the internet and social networks, radio continues to be a prime source of information and entertainment. It is estimated that over 4 billion people listen to it. Radio is the medium that reaches places others do not. while almost a third of the population did not have a decent internet connection in 2023, a proportion that rises to half of the population in rural areas. Radio is more inclusive and accessible.
Radio monate, very convenient tool, very convenient utility. Kaora ao ya morakeng o hitela radio. La o le ko khuting, o khuting deep in the Okavango. O le mo khuting o ile o tshwara dithapi. O khona go reetsa radio ha o leng teng. So ga gona excuse ya gore nya kone ke le teng radio e itaereng gongwe le gongwe ha o leng teng o khona go bula radio o utwa gore go diragala eng mo lehatsing.
The Ministry of Communications, Knowledge and Technology also applauded the medium's importance in nation building.
Seroma Masana le karolo e tona thata mo go ageng setšhaba. Lentswe a ke la moemedi wa lona pele ne le goroga ka ntata ya sone seroma mowa le ukwa gore gantsa lona a le morumila ko parlamenteng a ke kgosi a ke ko counseling kana ke kae hape hela ko le ka be le rumile motho teng seroma mowa le ukwa ka sone gore nya selelo kana tseleng tsone tse di khatlang kana tse leng gore ke tsone tse di le tshwenyang di a goroga di a utlwala mo setšhabeng.
The government also emphasized that they will be giving out more radio licenses in the future, particularly to non-profit radio stations. Solofela Tombali, BTV News.
Cattle roaming along the A2 road are said to be a major cause of road accidents. This was revealed by the chairperson of the Khanzi Road Safety Committee, Ms. Leah Mundia, who also stressed that the issue calls for concerted efforts among stakeholders. Ms. Mundia further pleaded with stakeholders to keep the road free from accidents, especially since it is a busy highway. Angela Enosa with more.
The A2 road, located along the Trans-Kalahari Corridor, is a very important road linking Botswana, South Africa and Namibia, and is ideal for boosting the economy of the three countries. However, on the Botswana side, livestock roaming the road, especially at night, is said to be a concern.
Go botlhokwa tota gone gore ha motho a le ko Namibia a le ko South Africa a tsamaya ba balesegile le mo gone mo go tla mo Botswana o tshwanetse re le ena ha a tla heta mo Botswana a ba heta mo tseleng e leng gore e ba balesegile. Puisano tsa rona le difamara ba supile ha bana le keletso ya gore tsela e ka tsengwa terata mme ba re lemotsha gore gone tsela e le ha ne ba kile ba ira maiteko a gore ba ka tsenya terata kgang ya nna gore gona le maphata mangwe a na a supa gore go ka se ke go kgonagale ka gore gona le motsamao wa diphologolo ya no rona re le ba ipaballo tseleng ke gone gore gongwe re tle re buele our stakeholders gore re kgone go bona gore a mme ga gona tsela e leng gore gongwe re ka bona gore tsela e ka babalesega kana ha le gore ke yone kgang ya terata re tle re ikgate motlhala re bone gore a mme maphata a maleba ba ka se ke ba re thusa ra bona gore bothata jwa gore tsela e keng e ka se ke tsengwe terata.
Farmers whose cattle get hit by vehicles face a hefty fine of 2,000 bulam if found guilty.
Di a thulwa ke dikgomo tsone re ka dikotsi tsone ra di attend. Ya no mme re kile ra tsa matsapa ra tsamara go bone ra bua le bone ba disa le ba nga dikgomo gore ba tlhokomele dikgomo ba le go somarela dikgomo tsa bone ka gore ke botshelo jwa bone ba itshetsa ka tsone. Ra ba rotloetsa gore a go se ka ga tla go nna dikotsi tse di kalo mo tseleng. Mme se re buile le bone ka sone re kopa ile kgakololo ne ile gore ka re itemogetse gore ba di bulela maitseboa e be go ra gore di thula thata masigo ne re kopile gore gongwe ba ka dira ile clustera gore gongwe ba dintshe mo ditseleng ba tsame ba dintsha ka rona re le ba sepodisi ra dintsha tsone.
Cattle farmers are encouraged to be diligent and ensure they are aware of their cattle's movement at all times.
Mene re ka ba kopa gore ba di tlhokomele kana ha go kgonega le bone ba di tswalle di ska tsa bolotswa bosigo ka gore bosigo tota ga bogolo bo ra ikgomo le one ya bo e sa bonale tse dingwe di dintsho ya no me ba kgwetsang dikoloi bone ga se mo re ka e bang gore le bone ba tshwantse gore ba thule dikgomo tseo ka gore di mo tseleng koloi ha o e kgwetsa re dumela gore kana go tsotlhe wa bo bona o le motho o tshwantse wa tsamaya ka lebelo le le lekanetse le leng gore e ka re kgomo wa go e bona o bo ka e skwa ithula le matshwao mo tseleng ya rona a teng a supang gore tlhokomela ela tlhoko go na le dikgomo bogolo jang ka gore gone ga le ke mahodiso a bone.
Meanwhile, government vehicles are also under scrutiny.
mme ka dikotsi tse e leng gore di a diragala di ama dikoloi tsa goromente mo gore supetsa gore le tsone re di bee leitho gore a mme are they roadworthy. yaanong maikalelo a gompieno ke gone gore re lebagane le dikoloi tsa goromente gore a mme le tsone ga di tsamayana di pegile ba direla puso di pegile dithuto tsa goromente a mme di babalesegile are they roadworthy gore di ka tsamaya mo tseleng. le gone hela re itemogetse gore se sengwe se se amang ke gone gore dikoloi tsa goromente o ka ithela le gore di a amega mo borukhuting. tse dingwe re setse re lemogile gore ke dikoloi tse e leng gore ga di na di-number plate, tse dingwe ke dikoloi tse e leng gore motsamao wa tsone ga se o letlelesegileng di-logbook di sa saeniwe.
As farmers request that a fence be built along the Kanghansi road to solve this problem, consultations are ongoing which will advise on whether or not this is possible in future. Angela Nosa, BTV News, Khansi.
Government has committed 95 million pula towards the construction of roads in Madinare, Robelela and Damchwechana. The Minister of Transport and Public Works, Mr. Eric Molale, revealed this when introducing Ocean Cables, a construction company that have been awarded the tender at the signing of a contract at the Madinare Kotla in full view of the community as witnesses. Karabo Mulusi.
It was conducted in the Kotla to exercise transparency and foster buy-in of the community through consultation, accurate information dissemination, and instilling spirit of ownership and accountability by all involved stakeholders to ensure diligence on project execution on budget and set time frames.
o tlo go saenela kontraka ha pele ga ba Madinare o ba shupentsha gore khotla e ha kae ha ba na le mathata pele ga mathata a itlha go wena a re le bagane seng a re hitile khotla e teng
re dira jalo ka mabaka le mantsi e bile re ithutile sengwe ha ntse re tla re dira ditiro tsa ditlhabolo re tshwantse ra lo lemotsha gore bora kontraka ba tla mo motsing batla ba tshotse madi a puso go lo direla ditlhabololo ga se madi a bona ba ba hirile yaanong go na le tsamaiso ya ka ha madi a puso a tshwarwang ka teng le a dirisiwang ka teng mo setšhabeng setšhaba se tshwanetse go nna le boikarabelo ya go bona gore madi ao a dirisiwa ka go tshwanetseng ka teng.
Re gorogile Ocean Cables re utule tiro e simologa mo kgoteng Economic Inclusion Act tota le rona hela ga re kopa tiro mo governmente ke dingwe tse re di kanneng ka tsona ra itse ga le mo Damchwechana re hira bo Damchwechana ga le mo Damchwechana re role bo Damchwechana Robelela hela jalo Madinare hela jalo ke le go gore tota hela.
The scope of work encompasses resealing of the 14 kilometers access road to Madinare from the Silibe-Pikwe-Serule main road, resealing of the 9 kilometers road heading to Damchwechana, also branching from the Silibe-Pikwe-Serule main road, as well as the 43 kilometers Madinare-Robelela tarred road.
Na ke na le tlhabollo tse di diragalang gompieno di le 27 go simola ka sa CCP go aga dikgota go simola ka go aga police stations go ditsela internal roads na ke le mo parlamente ke le mole I'm happy I'm ticking the boxes. Madinare is going to turn into a construction site. It's a given.
The roads construction projects in Madinare, Robelela and Damchwechana are some of the many infrastructure projects that government is undertaking across the country, delivering on the promise of human development and economic transformation. Karabo Mulusi, BTV News, Madinare.
It is time for sports with Liza Usekeng. Liza,
Dumela Maitsu.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good. Please proceed.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Khamuta Mapani. Good evening. My name is Lions Ausekeng with your world of sport, and we are starting off with football news. Botswana Premier League champions Jwaneng Galaxy will be in Francistown at Obed Itani Chilume Stadium tomorrow evening, where they will be taking on Traffic in a Botswana Premier League midweek encounter. Galaxy will be out for a win, as that will take them back to the summit of the log standings above Township Rollers. Tlamelo Muntsusi has the report.
Jwaneng Galaxy takes off on this game with a total of 32 points after playing 13 games, winning 4 games and a draw.
We are playing a very competitive team, but I think we have always been trying our level best to compete. We'll try our best to make sure that we compete again. There will never be a stage where we'll complain about being tired because of too many games. This will be our, I think, 7th match, if not the 6th match in 15 days. So you can understand the pressure and the program in itself. It's very demanding, but we will try our best to push and get the positive results. And as I always say, we are very lucky as Jwaneng Galaxy to have the types of players we're having here, players who wants to compete, players who demands more from each other. I still believe that we'll do the same again tomorrow, fight for a maximum points and try to win the match.
On the other hand, Traffic go into this game holding 20 points after 13 games in their previous matches. A win in tomorrow's match means a lot for Traffic, as it can help them elevate the team from the recent position to position 4 with 23 points on the log.
We will play a cautious game, then we take the game to them from time to time. We know them of pressing the opponents in the first half and fading away in the second. They come at you, so we are prepared for that. We'll have to match them pound to pound, and we'll see the battle of wits that will emanate from the technical bench assistance.
Last 3 head-to-head games for the duo when they faced each other. Jwaneng Galaxy won 1 game, same as Traffic, and drew 1 game. Tlamelo Muntsusi, BTV Sport.
Still with football news, Sankoyo Bushbucks have been knocked out of the Orange FA Cup Season 5 following a 3-2 loss to Santa Green at Maun Sport Complex over the weekend. Mareta Kaisara with the report.
Sankoyo Bushbucks, who were the home side, were outsmarted 3-2 by visitors Santa Green in a tough match played at the Maun Sports Complex on Saturday. The first half was eventful as they went for the halftime break, with Santa Green leading Sankoyo Bushbucks at 2-1. The second half of the game turned chaotic as some of the Santa Green players over-protested, leading to 3 of their players receiving red cards. Ngurungu then scored their second goal through the resultant penalty. Meanwhile, Otarungan Tumulang of Santa Green was chosen as man of the match and was rewarded with 1,000 pula and a trophy.
And look le baleng hela ne ke bera ka thata ba itse ba shimana ne ke nna ke ta ha go te ha for sima ka for ne ke nna ke ta ka for go training ke siana mo maseki ke ba ta mphoine tota yone ne ke ntse ke ba
so se re dirile ne re le ka gore ka bojothe especially first half block shift and block are defenders nte la ka utwa ka ne ke ntse ke ba bua ke ba ra ka no are ba defenders nte ta re go ngonyana hali ke gone batannang le laps batare ke team e leng gore ke le mo le second half ne at itile ena le go noka bolonyana mo go botoka, but hela we kept the focus.
They knew how we play, so anoka level they came here to frustrate us. I think that's why gongwe re heletse gongwe re lose match or nothing. So my boys got frustrated ka do gongwe tse ile tota ke tsa konte ha tsa mo lebaleng, you see se mo tse go nna le dio tsa konte ba sena ba go gwana hare ga dipala which I feel has to do with football, you understand.
Santa Green move on to the next stage of the Orange FA Cup, while Ngurungu's journey ended with the loss. Mareta Kaisara, BTV Sports, Maun.
And finally, Vunani Fund managers have been announced as the title sponsor of the 2024 Women's Sports Awards. This follows the 600,000 pula worth of sponsorship injection by the company in the awards over a period of 3 years. Victoria Dakin and Buitatelo Moaloleng compiled this report.
Business Development Manager of Vunani Fund Managers, Obake Musinyani, say they are delighted to continue supporting various local sporting bodies as they have done so in the past with Propeller Swimming Academy, as well as Team Swift Cycling Club, amongst others. Musinyani highlighted that the awards play a major role in promoting gender equality in sport.
Annual Botswana Women's Sports Awards, an initiative of Inside BW Women's Sports, executed in collaboration with Women in Sports Botswana, WASBO, certainly provides hope and encouragement that one day Botswana will be counted among the countries that have prioritized excellence and equality in sports. And for that, we want to say well done to the organizers of those awards.
According to the awards coordinator, Kisoko Oki of Inside BW Women's Sports and Blue Skies PR agency, they are thrilled to partner with Vunani Fund managers in celebrating the incredible talents that women athletes in Botswana possess.
I don't think we had to convince the team, for them to be part of last year's, activation. We literally just sat with them and we told them that this is something that we are doing. We have found a gap that we believe if we come together as a team, collectively as different stakeholders in our country, we have the greatest opportunity to close the gap that is there in terms of, one, recognition of women athletes and administrators, and two, rewarding excellence in terms of between men and women in the different sporting fraternity.
We hope that there is a better future for sports, especially for women, and I eagerly anticipate the evolution of these awards in the next 5, 10, 30 years, God willing. I'd love to see this go so much more further and keep getting bigger and better every year. Each time I give a talk or speak to a gathering for sports, I make note that the government cannot do it alone.
The second edition of the annual Women's Sports Awards, which will now be named Vunani Annual Women's Sports Awards, will be held on the 23rd of next month in Gaborone. Victoria Dakin, BTV Sport, Gaborone.
And that is it for sport this evening. Khomotso Mapani is standing by to give us a reminder of our top stories. Maitsu, I believe me and you tomorrow again.
Thank you so much, Princess Eliza. Until we meet again tomorrow. Have yourself a fantastic evening.
Likewise, Maitsu. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was Liza Sekin giving us the latest in sports. Let's take a final look at stories leading the way this evening. President Masisi received envoys from Seychelles, Lesotho, Cyprus, Indonesia and the Gambia. Radio is still considered an important medium of disseminating information. And in sports, joining Alex's hopes of being at the summit of the log to be decided by Tafik tomorrow. That's all that we had for you in our news bulletin this evening. BTV News, Ikanyarona. #BW Mindset Change. Up next is Eye on SADC.